What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've now done every other round. It is time for the final of the Italian Vault Tour from Bologna over in Italy. On the left, Shinigami with a long Italian named deck, Brobnar Sanctum Untamed, and I believe this is the one we saw on the... No. This is not the one we saw previously. Although it is pretty gosh darn good. It's got 4 Dust Pixie Hunting Witch regrowth. So maybe it is the one we saw before. Either way, it's a pretty gosh darn good deck. On the right, we have got Honk the Beneficially Topaz, played by the lovely Alesto84. We have seen this one on the stream so far. Lots of those three houses doing what those three houses do. And shout out right at the beginning to the lovely ilVizzo for allowing us to use the footage. What a lovely fellow. So we start off right away playing down a Headhunter. He's on the front of the Call of the Archons box. We should know this. And then we pass over to Alesto, who's going, it looks like, a bit of the old Dis. Gets a Shula down, gets a Pit Demon down, establishes a little bit of a board presence. Also, it looks like he played a Tendrils of Pain, just dealt 1 damage to Headhunter, got himself an Amber, not too bad. So we are back over to Shinigami here, and we've got a second Brobnar turn, it looks like. Oh, and we've got some stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. Smash comes in and stuns a creature, chooses to stun Pit Demon. Oh, and is that a second smash? No, that might be a Crump. Either way, we've got some... No, I'm lying to you again. It's a Bumpsy, ladies and gentlemen. Makes his opponent lose the Amber he got from Tendrils of Pain. Nice. And then he uses that Headhunter just to take down the Shula, take away some of Alesto's options, start clearing his board a little bit. Not too bad. Establishing a bit of a board presence. Not very much Amber going around, but we're only a couple turns in. So, it's a Brobnar fest right now, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the leader. For the remainder of the turn, each friendly creature may fight. Yeah, basically just uses Pit Demon to unstun. Then we get Burn the Stockpile, but that's not going to do very much. Does get Loma Flame Fist down. When you play it, if your opponent has 7 or more, they lose 2. And Burn the Stockpile, if your opponent has 7 or more, they lose 4. Good combo of cards. If your opponent's sitting there with like 9 Amber, you can actually put them down to 3. But he wasn't. Hey-ho. So we've got fighting going on. Both of those creatures on the Alesto side of the board have gone down now. And Shinigami, he's starting to get himself just that little bit of Amber going on there. I believe that was a war song? Gives you an Amber when a friendly creature fights? May have been. Either way, he's got himself some Amber there. The glare means I cannot see how much Amber Shinigami's got, but we'll figure it out as shadows pass over. We'll get it from context, ladies and gentlemen. It will be okay. So Alesto's sitting there, and we're a few turns into the game, and there's no Amber, there's no creatures, there's no artifacts, he's not forged a key. It's as if he hasn't even started. Now, he is able to get some damage down there onto the Bumpsy, so that's a decent little start there. It'll do. It'll help. What else has he got, though? Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Discarding a random card from the hand there. And looks like he gets himself a Sanctum creature, so that's not too bad. And he plays himself down a Dust Imp. When it's destroyed, he's going to gain a couple of Amber, so that's not too bad. That'll work. Incidentally, it was Poltergeist he played down there. No, it wasn't Poltergeist. I'm lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am lying to you. He used Gongoozle, dealt 3 damage to a creature, and as it wasn't destroyed, he discarded a random card from their hand. Means that Shinigami is going to be starting with a smaller hand size. And I believe, was there a control the week that came down? I think there might have been. He throws a Dust Imp up against Bumpsy, destroys Bumpsy, also destroys Dust Imp, gains himself a couple of amber, plays Shula to steal an amber, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is more like it. This is the kind of turn Alesto needed here. Now, he's only up to 3 amber. It's not like he's running away with a game at this stage, but he's doing all right. He drops himself down a Hysteria, return each creature to its owner's hand, and then plays down the Shula again to steal another amber. If you've got some good coming into play abilities that match with the house you've chosen, Hysteria becomes a phenomenal card, because you get to get rid of all of your opponent's creatures while then reusing some of your coming into play abilities like we just saw with Shula. It's not ideal if you've got multiple houses worth of creatures down, because you can only play back down the creatures in your active house at the time being. It's not some perfect scenario, but it's kind of cool. Now, there is a control the week, so I don't think he did play it last turn. Shinigami just had a very poor turn. Did not get very much going. But Alesto here, I do wish we had a little bit of a counter for control the week. Something that popped up on the screen and was like, yo, I have chosen this house. We did see George, when he won the Vault Tour in Illinois, was doing that for a little while. That was good. Okay, so he does bring down... He's got some exhausting going on. He's exhausted that Shula using Nocturnal Maneuver, which is quite nice. He's playing Regrowth to get one of his creatures back. And I'm fairly sure this is the second deck in a row that Alesto has now faced with 4 Dust Pixie, a Hunting Witch, and a Regrowth. Because I don't believe the previous one had Key Charge. If I am mistaken and that was the deck we saw win, do let me know. But I'm fairly sure it wasn't, ladies and gentlemen. So this is kind of cool at this stage. We've got some really good Untamed. Some really fast Untamed. And certainly Shinigami, I don't know if he's on check. I'm assuming he probably is. But Alesto here... He's building up a decent little amber store here as well. He's looking through his hand. He's seeing what he can do. He's playing down an Urchin to steal an amber. That's quite good. Okay, he's definitely on check now. Plays down a Noddy the Thief. Not going to do much now, but it will in the future, ladies and gentlemen. It's building up for the future. So we finally got Sanctum. Raiding Knight comes down. When you play, you capture an amber. 2 of those, incidentally, came down to capture amber. Oh, we got more capturing going on here as well here. So this is really nice. This is what he needed. Just capturing some amber. That was a Terms of Redress, incidentally. Gives you an amber bonus, and you get to choose a friendly creature to capture 2 amber. And obviously he chose the creature that did not get it by virtue of... you know, the usual play. So Sequist came down. Now, Sequist does capture an amber when it reaps, but it's got the amber by virtue of Terms of Redress, whereas the 2 Raiding Knight, they were able to get the capturing because that is their skill, essentially. So that's kind of cool. That'll work quite nicely. So, where are we to? So Alesto here, has he gone for Shadows again? We'll have to wait and see. He's got a couple active Shadows creatures. One can reap, one can steal some amber. It would be kind of cool. So, looks like he has gone Shadows. He's eyeing up the Noddy the Thief. Noddy the Thief has an ability whereby when you use it, you get to steal an amber. So there we go. And stealing is clearly better than capturing, because capturing, you can destroy the creature and get your amber back. Captured amber goes to the opposing player when a creature is destroyed. Whereas stealing, well, I mean, this might sound obvious, forgive me. You just steal it. So Urchin there, as I said, just kind of going to reap. It's just what it does. And now, what's Alesto got here? He's got another creature, it looks like. Okay, so plays down a Magda the Rat. When you play, you steal 2 amber. Though when it leaves play, your opponent steals 2 amber. So not unlike capturing, that amber will go back to Shinigami at some point. The key point here is that he's not forging right now. That's what's crucial here. It's going to stop him forging a key, and Alesto looks like he's got 7 amber, so that's put him well and truly on check. Drops a ghostly hand there to get himself a couple more amber. If his opponent had exactly 1 amber, he would be able to steal it. I don't believe that's the case here, but he's got a decent battle line going on. He's got 9 amber on his Archon. I mean, he looks like he's doing all right, ladies and gentlemen. He looks like he's doing all right. Okay, so now we see Champion Anafiel coming down, as well as a Vault Keeper. Your amber cannot be stolen. That's pretty gosh darn good against shadows. Like, really good against shadows. It's a rare card, and we don't see a huge amount of Sanctum compared to some of the other houses at these Vault Tours. So it's kind of cool that we get to see it here, and certainly it's a great tech against shadows, because shadows steal amber. And, you know, big up to Shinigami for actually making it all the way to the final of a Vault Tour without actually playing shadows in his deck. We don't always get to see that so much. And now we've actually got a really strong Sanctum battle line out from Shinigami. The kind of battle line here where you can just reap a couple of times, and by a couple I mean 5, and really start rushing for amber. Bearing in mind, Shinigami's deck is supposed to rush with amber using Untamed. That's kind of the goal here. If you can rush for amber with Sanctum, that's just a bonus. So we do see Alesto here dropping down his Blood of Titans, getting it on a Shula. Gives it 5 extra power, so a 10 power Shula. That's not bad. I mean, it doesn't have any skills once it's entered play, but hey-ho. And just confirmation that Alesto has forged his first key. Now, he also drops down a gang of Chieftain there. You may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature, and he does. And now he takes out one of those Sanctum creatures. It's not quite as many as there were. I believe that was a Sequus, though it may have actually been a Staunch Knight. No, I believe it was a Staunch Knight in the end. I believe I inadvertently called it a Sequus earlier because it was on the side and there were counters on it. We got it in the end, ladies and gentlemen. We got it in the end. So, yeah, that's kind of nice. Alesto, he's board wiping here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is good. So he brings out his chain tracker. Just popping it up there so he doesn't forget. And this is really good. He is in a great position here. Now, I believe that must have been a Coward's End. Destroy each undamaged creature. Gain 3 chains. And, yeah. Now, actually, you've got to give Shinigami a little bit of props here. He's actually coming back pretty hard with his own Brobnar turn. We don't usually see this much Brobnar. Now, it looks like 2 Smash and a Bumpsy. Yeah, and then he's able to... Well, he actually goes for an Anger there, ready and fight with a friendly creature, and that allows him to take out that Shula, though at the cost of one of his Smash creatures. I still don't like that as a name. It feels like it should be the name of an action card, not a creature. It confuses me and makes me just a little bit sad. Okay. So Alesto's still up by a key here, but... Okay, now I believe we've got Imperial Traitor being played. Look at your opponent's hand, you may choose and purge a Sanctum card in it. And we've seen Alesto playing a couple of Sanctum decks on stream, so that's kind of nice. Even if you don't purge a Sanctum creature, you still get to look at your opponent's hand, you still get all the information therein, and that can be incredibly useful. So he does get a Noddy the Thief down. Should mention Imperial Traitor gives you an amber bonus while we're here. And I want to say 7 amber? I think that's 7 amber. Either way, let's say a not insignificant amount of amber. Speaking of which, here we go. We did not see Alesto's top 4 opponent be able to really take advantage of this. Oh, and it feels weird saying it, but only 4 amber? Bearing in mind you got Hunting Witch, 4 Dust Pixie, And now I don't think he's actually got Nature's Call in his deck, but Hunting Witch and 4 Dust Pixie is going to get you 12 Amber. And he's got Key Charge in his deck. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Double Dust Pixie is fine, but I believe that was literally his entire turn. Now, we do see Bait and Switch coming down. Now, remember, we are post-errata Bait and Switch, just steals 2 Amber, but I've commentated a lot of games post-ban, or post... Not ban, really, it wasn't banned, but I've commentated a bunch of games post-errata, and people still play Bait and Switch, and it still makes a difference. Speaking of which, Alesto, he's now got 2 keys forged. I believe... I mean, he's doing very, very well here. He's got his 2 keys forged. Now, Snufflegater comes down for Shinigami, but Alesto here really is jumping ahead in the game. He's in a great, great position here. And, I mean, Shinigami's really on a clock. He has forged his first key, but the problem is, and you see this, and especially the Untamed suite, it really seems like a rushing deck. And you see this sometimes from rush decks. They struggle when they fall behind. What he would love to do is just play a bunch of untamed creatures, get a Hunting Witch down, do a bunch of reaping, etc. But he's now down by a key, and he's got to try and do something about this. Now, Alesto is able to grab a couple more Amber there. And I believe he just reaped with Noddy the Thief there. So now he's passing, and is he on 5 or 6 Amber? I can't quite tell. It's either 5 or 6 Amber he's got there. Now, we do see Reaping with Dust Pixie, and we do... Oh, no, sorry. Dust Pixie breaking the elusive of Noddy the Thief, and then Snufflegater taking it out. We finally see Hunting Witch come down, which is lovely. I was going to say, yeah, take those damage counters off Snufflegater. Snufflegater has got Skirmish. It doesn't take damage back when it attacks. It shouldn't have taken the 2 damage from Noddy the Thief, but as you see, they caught it nice and quickly. And that's it. Alesto's got enough Amber to forge, and Shinigami shakes his hand, loses 3 keys to 1, and Alesto is just a single game away from winning the entire Vault Tour. Good work. Now, to go back to Shinigami's deck very quickly. Now, while we were waiting, I did have a quick look at the top 4 match. And the top 4 deck, as well as this deck, has 4 Dust Pixies, has a Regrowth, has a Hunting Witch. This does not have a... I've already forgotten the name of the card. Nature's Call, that lets you pick up or return 3 creatures to their owner's hand, but it does have a key charge allowing you to forge a key mid-turn. It's always very interesting, of course, because if you can play down the 3 Dust Pixie and then play Nature's Call, you play down 3 Dust Pixie, pick them up, play them back down again. If you combine that with a Hunting Witch out, then you're basically looking at 18 Amber, and that's ridiculous. But how often is that actually going to work? Didn't work so well in the top 4 games, not been brilliant so far, and Alesto might keep facing all of these giant untamed Amber rushing decks, but so far he seems to be beating them. So Shinigami goes first again. He drops down a turn 1 Headhunter again. I mean, when you fight, you gain an Amber. It's a good turn 1 card. But now, unfortunately, Ganger Chieftain and another creature come down, take out that Headhunter, and... yeah, Headhunter's gone, and Alesto's passing the turn with 1 Amber and 2 Ganger Chieftain. Man, it's a Brobnar party over here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that was a Tremor, stun a creature in each of its neighbours, and gets down another Smash. Still don't like the name. So, is anyone at any point this game not going to go Brobnar? Yes. Looks like we've got Dis coming down here. I believe that's an Annihilation ritual that just came down. When a creature would enter the discard pile from play, it is purged instead. It's one we don't see very often, but it can be good, but it can backfire. Now, we also get a pair of Dust Imp down. Remember, when they're destroyed, Alesto will get 2 Amber for each of them. That's going to help him out quite nicely here. And Shinigami really is on the back foot now. Although he gets another... oh no, that's not even a Tremor. That's actually a blinding light. Choose a house, stun each creature of that house. Between the 2 tremor and the blinding light, Shinigami is, he's really able to get a lot of stunning going on. Also got his champion Anafiel down. 6 power, 1 armor with taunt means you cannot attack the neighbors of champion Anafiel unless they also have taunt. Or you've got one of the few cards which actually gets around taunt. There are a couple of them out there. So, Alesto's in an awkward position here, because all of his creatures are stunned. So what does he do? Does he basically ignore them and just try and build up another board? Or does he actively try and unstun them? I.e., does he wait until he wants to go Brobnar anyway to unstun the Paragaga Chieftain? Or does he deliberately go for it? Well, he seems to be going for Dis, and he has unstunned both of the Dust Imps here. But what kind of Dis hand does he have? That's one of the annoying things about having stunned creatures. You end up in this situation of, am I going to go for that house just so I can unstun them? It's really annoying. Now, it does get down a Pit Demon there. It does get down a Shula, though no Amber is being stolen. And see, that's kind of worth it, because now he's actually ending the turn with 4 Dis creatures all ready to go. Oh, Virtuous Works just came down, getting free Amber just straight off the bat. And we also have a Take Hostages. For the remainder of the turn, each time a friendly creature fights, it captures an Amber. So Champion Anafiel fights, captures an Amber. It's the only Sanctum creature out there that can fight, unfortunately. But still, that ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't bad. So Shinigami now's drawing up. End of his turn. He's got a fair bit of Amber. I don't know if he's on check. He's got at least 5 Amber. So if he's not on check, he's pretty close. I mean, he played a Virtuous Works last turn. Virtuous Works in and of itself gives you free Amber. So, I mean, anytime you've played a Virtuous Works and you're not on check, you do have to start thinking like, well, hang on a second. I'm trying really hard here. Why am I not on check yet? But I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right. So, once again, it seems like Alesto's kind of got this under control. Now, he's got less Amber than Shinigami, but that's not always the best way to tell. Because if your opponent's done stuff like play Virtuous Works, that's going to give them an advantage. They can't do that every turn. If your opponent's got more Amber than you because they've got 5 creatures out that are reaping every turn and you can't get rid of them, that's pretty indicative that they're in a good position. But if you've got 1 Virtuous Works in your deck and you play it and wait for it to come back round, that's not going to happen all that often. Now, it looks like Alesto is going to be throwing a Dust Imp at Champion Anafiel here. Gets destroyed, gains 2 Amber. Now, remember, that Annihilation Ritual is still on the field. Oh, and he does it again, throws another Dust Imp at Champion Anafiel, gets another 2 Amber. So now he's pretty much closed the Amber gap. But remember, all creatures now, when they enter the discard pile from play, they get purged. And that's kind of huge. So down comes Shula here. And it does steal an Amber. Oh, is that Control the Weak? I believe that is Control the Weak. So we know Shinigami did have at least 4 Amber, but now Control the Weak's come down. Just point out like, no, I played a Shula. I mean, to be fair, right, Alesto's got 3 Shula in his deck. We're going to see them here and there. So he's very much on check. It seems like he's got 8 Amber at the end of his turn. And now back over to Shinigami, but what's he got? He's got a Smash on the field. Okay, there's double Dust Pixie, which is nice, but again, it's not... Like, I'm not poo-pooing having 4 Amber. I'm really not. Oh, Key Charge. Now that is a great play. Now he gets to forge his key. And the great thing about mid-turn forging is that, you know, Alesto... Oh, and a regrowth. That's pretty sweet. Is he going to get another Dust Pixie? I think he had one in the discard. Oh, he's actually going Ganger Chieftain. No, that'll help. That's not Gang. It's Headhunter. I don't know why I get them confused. Only one of them was on the front of the box. Anyway. So I'm talking about the Dust Pixie play, and it feels weird as Alesto now forges his first key and catches up. I'm not poo-pooing getting 4 amber with Dust Pixie. I'm just saying that in a deck where you've got kind of Hunting Witch, you need to make the most of it, and we're not always seeing that. Now, that point was rendered completely moot when he played the double Dust Pixie and Key Charge, which is exactly what I mean when I say making the most of it. Well, not exactly. Hunting Witch still would have been better. It's about making sure that you're not just playing down the Dust Pixie and getting 2 amber, and that's lovely, but you're comboing it with some of these other cards in your deck, which can be huge. Okay, Bait and Switch comes down, steals only 1 amber, it looks like. Still stealing an amber, it's still fine. It's not perfect. And we do see, Magda the Rat coming down here to steal what I believe is the last 2. Because if Bait and Switch only stole 1 and left Alesto on 3, then it probably left Shinigami on 3. Oh, not the last one, sorry. So Magda the Rat would have stolen 2, which means he will actually still have 1 left. There we go. He's not going to have much amber anyway. And Alesto doesn't look like he's on check, but he's not far away, and just casually dropped down 2 Noddy the Thief at the end of his turn. Oh, so pair of Bumpsy come down. Remember, every time Bumpsy comes down, your opponent loses an amber. We got the Headhunter that we knew was coming after the regrowth the previous turn, and a Crump as well. Crump, after an enemy creature is destroyed, fighting Crump, its controller loses an amber. So it looks like Smash is reaping here. And now Shinigami's got a really nice board of creatures. And this is the kind of thing that he can do when he's even on keys. He can play the whole let's get 5 or 6 creatures out and just reap every turn. Last game it was too late in the game. This game it might work. Although, I mean, Alesto can finish this turn on check if he wants. All he really needs to do is just reap 3 times. Now, I don't think that will be the best play, and he's not going for that. He's played a Loot the Bodies for the remainder of the turn, gain 1 amber each time an enemy creature is destroyed. We know he's got Coward's End in his deck. It would be great if he dropped Coward's End right now, but we also know he played it earlier and it's in his discard pile. It is not available to use right now. So Magda the Rat takes down a Dust Pixie and Alesto gains an amber. And remember, that Annihilation Ritual is still out, so all of these creatures are not being destroyed and going to the discard. They are being purged. We see War Chest coming down. It's not going to do anything now. Actually, War Chest does the same thing as Loot the Bodies. Ha! That's kind of cool. But it's an action, so he can't use it now. It's not a static ability. So this is a decent turn we're seeing from Alesto here. Fighting with some creatures, gaining some amber. He's not on check, but he's not far. Oh, there it is! He has got Coward's End, ladies and gentlemen. I lied to you, my apologies. Destroy each undamaged creature, gain 3 chains. But he just gained like 5 or 6 amber. So the chain tracker comes out again, and I don't think he cares. Like, even a little bit. That's amazing. Oh, you've got to think. I'm not going to sit here boldly and say this is it. This is the end of the game. But you've got to think that at the end of the game, if he does win, this is going to be one of the key reasons why. And this is what I was talking about with the Dust Pixie earlier. Loot the Bodies is a decent card. And Coward's End is a decent card. But if you can engineer a situation where you play both of them on the same turn, then they go from good cards to, yeah, I'm 90% sure I just won the game cards. And that is the difference. Okay, so there's another Tremor just stunning those 2 creatures and gets himself down another Brobnar creature. I want to say Ganger Chieftain. But it seems terribly ineffective for what Alesto's just put on the board. So now Alesto forges his second key, and he's already sitting now with like 4 amber or somewhere along that line. Again, he's not using the best tokens. I mean, he might be for him, but not for commentary. Boo, etc. But he's in a great position here. And bearing in mind, Shinigami's one key that he forged was 2 Dust Pixie and a key charge. And that was after playing a Virtuous Works. So we see a Smith coming down here. And Smith gives you an amber, gain 2 if you control more creatures than your opponent. So Alesto is right back on to check here. And it just seems like for this whole game, Shinigami's not been able to amber rush. It's been very unreliable things. It's been just playing Dust Pixie, just playing Virtuous Works. Nothing that sustainable. So he drops down a bunch of Sanctum creatures, but that is it, ladies and gentlemen. And Alesto forges his 3rd key, jumps up out of his chair. He is your Italian Vault Tour champion. What a player, what a deck. Because here's the thing, right? And I'm going to do an analysis of this deck like I analyze every deck that wins Vault Tours. It's kind of my thing. There's nothing in his deck that screams, yeah, Vault Tour champion. There's no library access and a Penth Seed. There's no double time traveler. It's just Brobnar doing what Brobnar does, Dis doing what Dis does, and Shadows doing what Shadows does. But it's enough, ladies and gentlemen. And clearly, and I think we've had him on stream, I think like 3 or 4 rounds during this tournament. Clearly a phenomenal player. Commiserations to Shinigami, clearly also a very good player. You do not get to the final of a Vault Tour without being a really good player and having a really good deck. And that is another point before we finish this Vault Tour here. Don't think you can just pick up a really good deck and be a really good player. They are not the same skill. Yes, having a good deck will give you an advantage, but make no mistake about it, we got 2 really good players here. So commiserations to Shinigami, congratulations to Alesto, and a huge thank you to ilVizzo for allowing us to use the footage. I've had a blast, and the good news is, you might be hearing from me about the German Vault Tour this weekend. Somewhere around, ladies and gentlemen, at some point, I will be showing you those games. Oh, Shinigami's giving a clap to his victorious opponent. That, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is what is often referred to as class. So, we're done now, ladies and gentlemen, but tell me what you think about this game, or the Italian Vault, or anything you really want to say, down in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio. That's where you can do that. And otherwise, just make sure you look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.